lot of the time we don't understand the amount of work that it takes to stay in a really healthy long-term relationship. And for me, being in a marriage for 3 years almost, and just looking back at the things that have made this relationship the best. Why is it so strong? Why is it so healthy? Why is it that all the things that happen in life, all the hard things, all the conflicts, why are all those things worth it? One of the things that I found is that two people have to be able to lay down their expectations. That's the first thing I found, is like laying down my expectations of who my husband is supposed to be, or who I think my husband is supposed to be. Laying that down and laying it down to him and communicating that to him is so important. I've heard somewhere it said that unmet expectations breed resentment, but one thing that I found is that uncommunicated expectations breed resentment, because when you keep them and harbor them inside, you don't know whether or not your partner is willing to work with you and compromise with you so that whatever thing that you want or desire out of the relationship, out of them, actually comes to life. One of the things that I realized early on in my relationship is I had all these expectations that stem from tradition and culture and me watching my parents' relationship, other people's relationships, movies, and all of these things that play into our perception, our idea of relationships. All of those things were making up my expectations of who my husband is supposed to be in my head. And all that was in my head. This man did not know any of it. And I would expect him to know that. I would expect him to read my mind and know what I expected of him. And that bred a lot of like resentment, just like anger that was not warranted or actually not valid, because I never communicated it. So one of the things that I've learned is communicating the expectations that you have, because they come from all over the place. It's not just communication, but it's what do you communicate about, because you can communicate all day, but you can communicate about the wrong things. Building a long-term relationship, really it's about always becoming that person, right? Always becoming the one. Because a lot of us, when we want to be in a long-term relationship, or really if marriage is a goal, we set it as the goal. And I did that for so long. I mean, I did that up until I got married. Like I wanted to be married. That was the goal. I had other goals and I was pursuing them and I was going after them. But in my back of my mind, I was just the goal, the ultimate goal. And I think so many of us, especially a lot of Christians, we put marriage as this really big ultimate goal and put it in such a high pedestal. The whole point of marriage is not to stop. It's always becoming the one. The Bible does not teach us how to find the one. The Bible teaches us how to become the one. And I was like, that took me to a whole nother place. The Bible is it's not this dating manual. It's all about becoming that person. And this is a lifelong journey. So that's why marriage cannot be the ultimate goal, because once you hit marriage, once you hit a long-term relationship, then what? Becoming the one, always becoming that person, becoming the one that loves, becoming the one that is healing, becoming the one that is trusting, becoming the one that is patient. Like becoming the one should be the goal. And growth is such an important key. I had to see that the person that I met when my husband and I met 3 years ago, he's not that person. I came into his life, changed his life. He came into my life, changed my life. Now we are two very different people. Obviously, my beliefs, but there's core values, core things that have not changed. If I'm not careful, I can reminisce too long on that person that I met instead of the person that is with me now. You also freeze your partner, or you freeze who they are in time instead of evolving with them, and you miss getting to know that person. Because my husband is so fun right now. He's such a fun, I feel like we're at this level of goofy, and just this the juicy part of the friendship is so perfect right now, and I love it. Intentionality in a long-term relationship, oh my God. One of the things that I had to be more intentional about is when we are working those opposite schedules, and I'll be relaxing, I'll just be home winding down and I'll have the TV on, being intentional about when my husband comes home, I just turn off the TV. I just don't think about it. But if I'm really intentional about that, we can spend the last hour or so of the day together instead of me watching the show and him trying to get ready for work, but we can do things together. Being intentional about walks. I think for us, when we have the time, going on walks is so key. There's something about, obviously walking is physically physically so good for you mentally, but emotionally together, walking and talking and just life, and we both love nature and just seeing it's just so perfect. Being intentional too with the other person. There used to be a sound on TikTok, early TikTok, it was if he wanted to, he would. And I would say if you both want to, you would. And being in a long-term relationship is all about knowing that when I love this person, I want to, that want just comes. It's natural, it's not forced. And that's part of being intentional. Like, you know, love, true love, good love, healthy love, you know, a healthy long-term relationship is so intentional because you can't grow without being intentional. One of the ways to be intentional is really knowing each other's love languages. I mean, love languages are, so important. If you don't know what a love language is, I'm gonna put it in the description so you can go and take your love language test. It's so important. I mean, like, for me, it has helped me like love my husband better because I've been able to know him, because his love language is physical touch. My love language it's between acts of service and quality time, so it depends. My husband made me a smoothie this morning and it was so good, but that's like acts of service, literally like pulling my love string on my heart. But being intentional, if in a long-term relationship, in a really healthy relationship, is seeing like, that is my love language, but what is their love language? For my husband, it's physical touch. Physical touch was my lowest. For him, it was the highest, you know? So it was like, I physically have to be intentional. Like, I have to be intentional because it's not a natural, it doesn't come natural for me to show physical affection. It's just not how I grew up. I remember early on in our relationship, it was very hard for me to hold hands in public or like kiss in public, like just like a peck. It's not like we're, you know, Frenching down or something like that. Just like a rub on the back. Like, those things were just like very foreign to me. I've gotten way better, and now it's just automatic. Being in a long-term relationship is so much more than just like the lovey stuff. One of my favorite books, one of my favorite relationship books, which I'm going to talk about next, is Love and Respect. And one of the quotes he says is just like, life is so daily. Like, life is so daily. And especially when you are in a long-term relationship, when I gotta go to work daily, like I gotta make food daily, like the little daily things. And that's part of the long-term relationship, is how do I live with this person daily? How do I do that? And then also the romance. And I think for us, the romance kind of intertwines and interweaves in the daily when we're intentional about loving each other, we're intentional about our love language, intentional about really just spending time together. That kind of comes. And then there are days where we are intentional about the romance. We are really intentional about a date, about this, about candles, about lights, about, you know, sparks and whatever. When you really sit and say, you know, am I ready for that? I'll really lay myself down for the daily, you know, of me and also that person, of us. A lot of us live in a culture where it's me, what's best for me. I want this, I want this in this relationship, I want that in that relationship. I want my person's gonna be this and they're gonna look like that, or they're gonna act like this, they're not gonna act like that. It's like, when love is really the center, those things kind of fall to the wayside, because when you're focused on loving, when you're focused on serving, it just happens. And it's very hard to explain when you're not in a long-term relationship, when you're not in this relationship where you're so committed to, where love is the center, when you know, I will do it for you. I will do it for you. The last thing that I want to say, I just kind of mentioned that, is one of the keys, and I think this has helped me so much, helped us so much, is I like reading the book Love and Respect. I'm going to put the link in the description. This book is just will absolutely change your life. It's biblical. It's biblical, Bible-based, biblical. Even if you're not a Christian, even if you've never read the Bible in a day in your life, you don't even know what the Bible is, this book has so much value in it. It's so amazing because it really helps you see the male and female psyche in a relationship. Also how love and respect play, because those are really important things. And you don't have to be Christian to know that love and respect are really important things when it comes to a long-term relationship or marriage. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up so that everyone else can see it. And I will see you in the next one, my friend. Bye.